And we are back on the Red Mountain Express. We were gone for a week, Matthew.
Did you miss us? Did you miss this?
I did. I'm not kidding you, I did. I feel like we've been gone forever.
Okay, so you were gone last week, and then me being the awful producer / co-host forgot to post and let people know why we didn't have an episode.
Oh, did you not post?
I didn't post.
I showed you how much I paid attention when I was gone.
So if anybody out there looked on your podcast
we're still here.
Yeah, we didn't disappear. We're not shut down. We're here. It's just when Blake's not here, I can't run a good show.
Oh, that's not true. That is totally not true.
I didn't want to show you up.
You go find somebody out on the corner to sit in this chair, man. How was your week while I was gone? Besides, sad and boring.
Besides sad and boring, there was also some highlights. Beach and Woodworks came in. They finished our island.
It looks good,
It
man.
looks great. It made our kitchen look 10 times better than it ever has prior to this.
You're never going to sit at your dining room table again.
I mean, we hardly sit at the dining room table anyway.
I've eaten at that dining room table.
Yeah, I mean, when people are over, we'll make a point to eat at it because it's a better place to sit than the couch.
Is it though? Because
we are the
couch
typical
awesome.
modern family that wants to sit in front of the couch and watch Netflix while we're eating.
I love doing that. The coffee table is meant to eat on.
Exactly. Yeah. Every once in a while, we'll stop. We won't do that. If we want to talk about something or we've had an eventful day or week and we want to decompress, we'll sit at the table and eat and talk. But then that usually lasts for about 30 or 40 minutes. Then we go straight back to the couch to watch whatever we're watching on Netflix or Hulu.
I'm telling you what, it looks good.
It looks
now,
great.
What is the finish on top? We've had this discussion. You don't even know, do you?
No, I do.
Okay.
I do know.
You had a look of panic on your face when I said it.
So we had 3 choices presented to us. I think they were espresso, Jacobian or Jacobine, however I've heard people say it different ways, and I forget the third one. We were between the Jacobian and the espresso, and the Beechams were here. My wife was here. We were talking about what we were going to do, and I blurted out, "Well, did Laura tell you that we want to use the Ethiopian?" Because in my head, I was thinking coffee beans, different darknesses of. I don't know how it came out. They got a good laugh at that. So we're using the espresso, not the Ethiopian.
Sounds delicious.
It looks great.
No, it looks really good. So it's completely done. There's nothing else to be done with it?
I have some finishing things I need to do to it. I need to fill the nail holes in and then paint, to touch up the little places with paint there. But as far as Beach and Woodworks or any major parts of it, no, everything's done.
It looks good. Looks real good.
Looks great.
Fits in the kitchen very well, too.
Yes, it does. So had that done this week, and then this weekend, Laura and I went to Tennessee to see our new niece. So that was eventful. That was fun yesterday. I got to hang out with the family and meet her. This morning I watched Thor Ragnarok.
What'd you watch?
The last Thor movie to come out.
I haven't seen the first Thor movie, so...
Really?
Yeah, I'm not into, Thor
For as big of a, sci-fi person as you can be, especially with Star Wars, you haven't jumped in the Marvel Cinematic Universe at all?
It's not that I haven't, I didn't want to, I just don't have time to invest myself
Fair enough.
into that.
Fair enough.
I want to see Black Panther, though.
I haven't seen it yet. I've heard it's great, but I'm one of those people that I feel like you need to watch them all the movies that led up to it. So right now there's 15 or 20.
Yeah, I don't have that kind of time, man.
You just got to put the girl to bed, put the wife to bed and the daughter to bed, and turn some movies on.
If that all happens, that means I'm going to bed. You'll learn.
You're not dedicated.
You'll learn that
Brew a pot of coffee.
Yeah.
No, I mean, I'm a Marvel nerd at this point. I love the movies. I didn't really get into the comics when I was a kid, but I love the movies. They've done a great job with that. And that one, did you see Guardians of the Galaxy?
Yeah. No, I like Guardians of the Galaxy.
This is a lot of the same humor style from Guardians of the Galaxy, but with the Thor dressing.
They made a second Guardians of the Galaxy, didn't they?
Yes.
It was supposed to be pretty good, too.
It was good. I didn't like it as much because of a lot of the same jokes, but it was good.
Yeah.
Besides that, here we are. Doing some yard work today. I know you were doing some yard work this morning.
Dude, I worked like a rented mule.
Yeah.
I mean, I did yard work, not like the yard work you see on TV where people are mowing the grass in their khakis, waving at their neighbors.
Who does that?
I mean, everybody on TV apparently. But I was in old shorts and a holy T-shirt, holy as in holes, not as in the biblical sense. And just, worked hard. I'd get I have 8 pine trees in my front yard. You've seen my front yard.
Yeah.
8 pine trees, a couple evergreens. If somebody wants free pine, you can have it. You just have to cut down the trees. I will give somebody free advertisement on this show if you'll come down and just chop the trees down. I haven't covered this with you, Matthew, but
no, I approve. Look,
God, it was awful. It was front and backyard today.
It's never fun.
And it's still not done.
We don't have a lot. I've got some leaves to get rid of. I'm terrible at getting rid of leaves. For one thing, the leaves don't bother me. I think leaves, when they fall on the ground, kind of serve a purpose.
Yeah.
So I do a bad job of getting them off the ground, and the rest of my neighbors, I'm sure, look at my yard and discuss. But now that we're into the spring season, I need to get them cleaned up, the ones that are still around. And thankfully, though, we don't have a lot of grass growing yet. We got some onions growing up. Yeah, but not any grass yet, so I'm thankful for that.
I'll tell you what, it was awful. I cleaned out the beds, got those cleaned out. The worst thing about my yard is just all the pine straw, because I mean, it's just, you'll try to like mow it and suck it all up, but the problem is that it gets caught up in the mower, and then you have to like stop and clean up, and it took forever. So that was today, actually. That's why I was a little bit late getting here.
No, you're good.
But I was out of town for a week. I went to Washington for about 5-6 days for work.
Hobnobbing with the congressman, and
you know it, man.
Yeah,
it was fun.
Yeah.
I did go to the Air and Space Museum on a light day, which I go there every time I go up there because it's wonderful. And then I also saw the new Obama portraits at the National Portrait Gallery.
Yeah, I saw your Instagram
post. It was really cool. It was really cool, especially. Like with Michelle's photo, or not photo, her portrait, it's right when you walk in, so you really don't have nothing to compare it against. But Obama's is in that hall where all the presidents are, and it's just different from everything else. I mean, it stands out in a good way. Man, there was a line to get to it, but it was fun. And then this past weekend, we went to the Exceptional Foundation's Chili Cook-Off, which was down near Brookwood Mall. And that was fun. A lot of people were out there. They raised some good money for a good organization. And then we went to the Botanical Gardens, which was, I don't know if you've ever been there, but
I have.
It's great. They got a moon tree, which.
So explain what a moon tree is.
So a moon tree came from the seed that was brought on board one of the Apollo missions that went to the moon. And as you know, I'm a space nerd, so it's just really interesting. So they have I think it's an elm or a sycamore tree. So we did that, and that was fun. It's been great weather the last couple of days.
It has really been
Spring
nice.
is here.
Yeah.
Although it's going to drop down to the 30s this week.
We'll have a blizzard sometime.
Oh, yeah.
In the next
It'll be in the 30s this week, so that'll be fun. But other than that, that was a good week, and I'm glad to be back.
Yeah. So while you were gone, of course, 2 weeks ago now, we were getting close to 3 weeks on this Wednesday. Of course, there was the shooting in Florida.
Yeah. Parkland.
The last episode we didn't get a chance to discuss that. We were doing the Feeding Fingers interview, and then you were gone last week, so we haven't discussed that yet. And you know, if you've paid attention to the news, if you've listened to any of the people you listen to for your news sources, I'm sure you've heard about this story tons already. There's not really a whole lot that I feel like we can say about it, other than how much of a tragedy it is, and that something's got to give at some point. No matter what side of the political spectrum you're on, something's got to give. But I bring that up just to lead into something else that I know you want to talk about.
Yeah, did you see Delta apparently was giving they give discounts to a bunch of groups, and one of those groups was the NRA.
Right.
And they decided to quit giving that discount and removed everything from their website. Then the Georgia legislature decided, in retaliation, to not vote for as a tax benefit that Delta was getting. I think it was on fuel. I think that's what it was.
I think that's right.
And that happened.
Yeah.
And I think Delta kind of doubled down and said, our values are not for sale.
Right.
And I say this, I'm a SkyMiles member, and I fly nothing but Delta, and proud to do it.
As somebody that hasn't flown that much in my life, I've never been loyal to a particular airline. I've always just kind of picked whichever one was most convenient at the time, had the best prices and the best times. And of course, coming out of Birmingham, sometimes you're limited anyway to bidding on where you're going. But I did see the headline come across my phone when they announced it.
I came across my phone as I was boarding a Delta flight.
Really?
Not a joke.
Yeah. Awesome. Again, whatever you want to say from whichever political side of the spectrum you're on, whatever, this is Delta taking a stand for something they believe in. Kudos to them. Now, there's this is like further lead into one other thing I know you wanted to talk about.
Yeah, Randall Woodfin sent out a tweet do you have what he exactly? I'm trying to pull up exactly what he said. And
I would have to look for it.
I should have been prepared, but it was basically like, move your, we like your headquarters to be here. Give us a
I know
call.
he started out by saying like in math, delta is a symbol for change.
Right. Yeah.
So what do you think, delta? And
let's talk.
Yeah.
And it was really cool. And like, let's just say this, that Woodfin was not the only American mayor that actually did that. And it was, I don't think Delta's going to go anywhere, but it's just kind of cool just to say, hey, come on.
Yeah. Him signaling that we as a city are open for business. We've seen this already with him a few times. The big campaign for bringing Amazon to Birmingham.
And you know what? Speaking of Amazon, that has to hurt Atlanta's chances, right?
Maybe.
Knowing that the Georgia legislature reacts like that, that's got to hurt your chances for HQ too.
It can't
help. Yeah. Well, I told you this off the air, and it's a story about Coca-Cola in Atlanta. And like in the 60s, it was 1964, and MLK was awarded the Nobel Peace Prize. And the mayor at the time, which was Ivan Allen, had sent out these invitations to have a dinner at the I think it's the Dinkler Hotel in Atlanta. And like nobody RSVP'd and went out to all the elite businesses in Atlanta. And so he started getting worried. So he called I think it's Robert Woodruff, who was the former president and CEO of Coca-Cola, but who still carried immense power in Atlanta, called him and begged him to do something. So he brought all the businesses he could to the top of the Commerce Club in Atlanta and said, it's a shame that this is happening, that the business community will not rally around a Nobel Peace Prize winner from its own city. Atlanta is an international city, and Coca-Cola is an international business. Coca-Cola does not need Atlanta. Now, y'all need to get together and decide if Atlanta needs Coca-Cola. They sold out within an hour, and they had 1,600 people singing "We Shall Overcome" at the dinner. So, I think that's corporate leadership, and I think that's kind of what Delta's doing here. It's saying, like, at some point, you got to take a stand. And, these are children we're talking about.
Yeah, right? Yeah.
And as a father, and I know as someone who's about to be a father, it's important that when our children go to school, they feel safe, and they are safe. So, yeah, that's our soapbox for the day.
Well, we could probably find another soapbox.
We'll find.
That's the first soapbox of the day.
So,
I guess like I said, there's not a whole lot more to be said there, unless we want to, do an aside and go off on a tangent. I know we could.
We could.
The two of us.
I could definitely go on a tangent about this.
But I do want to bring up something else, just that it's not official news yet, but it is something I saw this week and got kind of excited about in relation to our city, in relation to Mayor Woodfin. You know what Reddit is? You use Reddit?
Yeah.
So for those of you who don't know...
I don't really comment on anything, but I watch the news.
You get on there.
Yeah.
Reddit is, for lack of a better term that I can come up with right now, kind of like a news aggregate site. Users from all around the world can post news stories or their own personal topics. The front page of the internet. The front page of the internet's their motto. And that's reddit.com, and you can go in there and you can subscribe to all these different subreddits, they call them, which are smaller communities. So Birmingham has a subreddit, and it's users from Birmingham that get on and post stories or post topics. Well, so we talked about the net neutrality stuff that happened couple months back, and there's been a letter going around amongst different mayors, city mayors in the United States, and basically showing their support for net neutrality and promising to do what they can to fight for net neutrality. Somebody posted that in the Birmingham subreddit and then tagged Mayor Woodfin to say, what do you think about this? And I was really surprised that he commented, first of all. And of course, this is not an official comment. You can't, or there may be a way to. I have not verified for sure that Mayor Woodfin made this statement, but
he's active on Reddit.
He is active. He has done AMAs, which are Ask Me Anythings, like interviews under this name before. So this name is at least associated with him and run by him or somebody in his office.
Maybe we should have him on one day
and ask him about this.
About it.
Yeah, Mr. Woodfin, if you're listening, your email's coming.
It's coming.
It's coming to you.
We're going to do it. Yeah.
All right. So he said, in response to, can we support net neutrality? He said, I quote, or the username said, I absolutely support this. The letter was signed about a week after I took office, and the first time I heard about it was today when it was at the top of /r technology, which is the technology subreddit. I directed my staff to ask to have my name added. Rest assured, I will fight tooth and nail for net neutrality.
Now, I've said off the air, I was asking you that I know this is just a letter, But there are things that Birmingham can do, right?
Birmingham can, of course, as a city in Alabama, the people of Birmingham, the Birmingham mayors, the Birmingham officials, they can put pressure on our senators or legislators to fight for net neutrality. They can put their name on letters like this to say this is something we support. There may be things they could do financially to help this fight. But there's nothing they can do to make the FCC change their stance.
Well, what is this about? They can create their own ISP?
Okay, so this was another thing in that same thread. Somebody else had brought up the idea of a city-run ISP, internet service provider, and asked if that was something that could happen in Birmingham. And I think his direct line is a very short response. He said, "I've been looking into this." So that, to me, as a big internet nerd, like, it may not ever happen. There's a lot of hurdles to jump over. But the idea that we have a mayor elected in Birmingham that's even looking into the idea of a city-run ISP or looking into fighting for net neutrality, that means a lot to me personally.
Does this mean I wouldn't have to buy my cable not cable, but internet from Charter?
Yeah. So if you don't understand
thieves.
the idea of a city-run ISP, look at somewhere like Chattanooga, Tennessee. They have an internet service that is provided by the city as a utility. I think it's actually run by their electric utility in Chattanooga. And that's gigaspeed internet. The prices are lowered and maybe subsidized by the city.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and available citywide as far as I know.
So if we have Woodfin on the show, we can ask him about that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, absolutely.
I
will make it number one question.
Number one question. All right, well, let's take a break. We'll hear from our friends over at Beach and Woodworks, who made a fine island for Matt and Laura, and we'll be back after these messages. Beach and Woodworks is a locally owned and operated wood shop in Birmingham, Alabama, specializing in custom furniture and small home goods. Chris and Kanan Beecham create a wide variety of unique pieces of all sizes, ranging from cutting boards to farmhouse tables. Using wood sourced from Alabama sawmills, Beach and Woodworks creates affordable, quality pieces that will be a one-of-a-kind fixture for your home. So support your local woodworker and visit redmountainexpress.com/woodworks or check them out on their Facebook and Instagram accounts. Beach and Woodworks, turning your house into a home. And welcome back to the Red Mountain Express. Dave & Buster's is finally coming to Birmingham. Now, we talked about this earlier in our history of shows.
I think so,
but
briefly.
Now they said that it's going to be in Birmingham before the end of 2019.
2018.
I mean, 2018, that's
Yeah,
right, yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, God, you can tell I don't even know what year it is. It's going to be at the River Chase Galleria. It's going to be near the food court, and I think they're going to start talking about what the build-out is going to look like.
I think they have already made the build-out official, if I'm not mistaken, and have started working on the official paperworks and licenses and stuff.
Have you ever been to a Dave & Buster's?
I have.
Yeah. I see. I've been to a ESPN The Zone in Denver, so it's kind of like that, but
It's kind of like that. It's like an adult Chuck E. Cheese. No bounce or ball pit. But
see, it wasn't Chuck E. Cheese when I was a kid. It was Showbiz.
oh yeah, I remember Showbiz.
Yeah.
It's been Chuck E. Cheese a lot longer though.
Yeah, it has been.
Yeah. So I've been to the Dave & Buster's in Nashville. I believe that's right. It's a food and bar and grill. They've got a small food menu, drink menu, and then they've got this huge arcade, with a ton of games in it, from anything from like your old classic Star Wars X-Wing versus TIE Fighter arcade to
that's fun.
a newer revamped arcade version of Flappy Bird. If you ever played that on your iPhone, terrible game.
No. Well, they have like the dance game,
the Dance
do you
Revolution.
remember that?
Oh yeah.
You remember you always saw the guy that would get on that and he would be really good at it, and you were like, how many times did you have to play this?
Okay, so not a knock against anybody playing it, because I'm a video game person. I can respect somebody enjoying a game that I don't enjoy, but I would watch the people playing that game, and first of all, like,
it's not dancing. It's not dancing.
I don't really get what you're doing or how you're scoring points here. I get the gist of it. I understand the idea of the mechanics, but like, it was just people moving really fast and doing really quote unquote well at it.
It's just weird.
It was mind-boggling.
They used to have a game. We're going to talk about video games for the next 5 minutes, I imagine, but it was a thoroughbred racing game, and you would get on this horse, and like you would move the horse up and down, and the faster you did it, the faster your horse, and you look really strange doing it.
Oh, I'm
and
sure.
people would jump on that thing. You're like, man, you don't want to get on that thing. You want to why don't you just go on down to the Terminator?
You know, that game was made for having somebody get on it and everybody else just standing around and watching how goofy they look.
Like, let's see how stupid people can get on this.
Which maybe, no, I know that's not what Dance Dance was made for, because people love Dance Dance. It garnered a huge following.
I was a big, like, on the NASCAR games, just driving, or even
like the Daytona. And those were fun.
Those are lots of fun.
I'm old school. I remember like the Cruising USA games.
Yeah, those are good.
There was what was it? House of the Dead. It was like a zombie shooter on rails type game.
The Alien or Area 51 games.
Yeah,
those were good.
Were great. And Time Cop. That was another one that was like a shooter on rails. You had the little
Cop.
foot pedal that you could push and you duck. Anyway, so Dave and Buster's are coming. They have all those types of games and more.
So excited right now.
It's going to be fun.
So excited.
It won't beat out Top Golf for me.
I love Top Golf.
Top Golf is great.
I mean, they've got a business going. I mean, it's like packed all the time.
It's huge. But it's one more thing in Hoover. I know Hoover is not necessarily quote-unquote Birmingham
metro area.
But it is the Birmingham metro area, and it's one more thing to show that our population is growing and we're getting bigger and better businesses, and we're expanding. Like, it's good. If any of the areas around Birmingham are expanding, that's good for Birmingham, I think.
So we're going to Dave & Buster's, aren't we? I mean, like,
oh, absolutely.
We can write this off because it's work.
Yeah,
okay,
right.
Just make sure.
I'll put it on my taxes.
Okay, good.
So next thing that's happening in Birmingham is AL.com article mentioned that Founder Station there on Morse Avenue is going to get 2 new restaurants and a bar. Should be opening sometime this summer, late summer. Maybe September was the last one to open.
And one's a tapas place, is that right?
Right. So you've got, I think I'm saying this right, Cayo Coco. That's Cayocco.
Let's just say you're right.
It's the owner of the Collins Bar opening this restaurant. I hear you sighing, and I'll
look. It's not that I dislike Collins Bar. It's just that I dislike Collins Bar. Okay, it's just that they're snooty with their beverages. Can I just say that?
You can say it. I'm going to disagree with you.
You know I'm right on this.
Oh no. Me and you have had this fight before.
My wife went in there and tried to get a Heineken. It was there. It was right behind them, and they were like, "Oh, how about this one?" It was Pilsner or Kel or whatever it was called. And they were like, this is what Heineken wants to be. She's like, yeah, but I want the Heineken. And he's like, but this is what Heineken wants. They're like, just give me the damn beer I ordered.
Here's the thing.
I'm not saying their mixed drinks are not good. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that, like, I shouldn't have to fight with the bartender about getting what I want.
I will say this, that I've never gone into Collins Bar to order a beer. I never have. If I go to Collins Bar, I'm going
now you're just insulting my wife.
No, I'm going to Collins Bar for one reason, because I'm going to play what I call the game. I'm going to go into Collins Bar. They're going to ask me what I like, and I'm going to tell them I like rum and vanilla flavors and the smell of tobacco. I'm just being silly here. And they're going to come out 10 minutes later with a drink that blows my mind. Every time. I've never had a bad drink there.
I'm not saying it. Now, they did make like this little milkshake thing one time that was really good. It was. I'm not saying I've never had a bad drink there. I'm just saying that if I want a whiskey and ginger ale, I should want a whiskey and ginger ale. I shouldn't have like, well, I'm going to make you something like that. Like, no. Why don't you go get the Crown Royal or Buffalo Trace and then throw some ginger ale on top? And I'll tell you what, I will pay you for it.
But here's the thing. Like, there are a million places where you can go to get that drink.
Yeah,
if
but
you know what
are
you
at Collins
want.
Bar, and I want to hang with you.
How often am I at Collins Bar?
Every night. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead. Continue your story. I had to,
from the owners of the Collins Bar is Coco, and it's going to be a chef-driven and centered around South American Cuban cuisine and served tapas style. I'm not a huge fan of tapas style because I don't like sharing my food.
And that I have to get Taco Bell after I leave
but,
the tapas
but
place.
People love tapas. I do like South American and Cuban type cuisine.
I love Cuban food. Love Cuban food.
They're also going to have a rum bar.
Ooh,
that excites me.
See, that's going to be good.
Yeah. Also in there is going to be the Essential. I think it's called the Essential restaurant. It's described as a neighborhood cafe and bar and will offer breakfast, lunch, and dinner every day. And it's from the people who launched Feast and Forest. Now, the AL.com article said launched Feast and Forest, so I don't know if that restaurant changed hands at one point, if these are the people that originally opened Feast and Forest and moved on.
It's got to be.
I don't know if they still own it, but there we are. So those are the two restaurants, the Essential and Coco. And then there's going to be a cocktail bar, which I don't think had a name in the article. It's going to open in the basement of the Caldwell Milner building. It will have a speakeasy feeling with live jazz and local performers.
No, I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah. Now, the article did specify that they would be serving tequila and mezcal-centered recipes.
What's mezcal?
Mezcal is like a smokier kind of type of tequila.
Ah.
Yeah. So I'm excited about all three of those things.
Absolutely. Well, I will say this, a speakeasy type of bar, especially a jazz bar, really interests me. When I lived in Montgomery, there was a place called Sous La Terre, which is downtown. It's still there, and it didn't open really till 11 o'clock, but it was, it was a jazz bar that was, under the ground, and it was really, really good. It was very, very popular, and I'm a big fan of like live jazz music. And so I think that's something that Birmingham needs, and it'd be fun.
Yeah. The only thing I can think of that we had, I'm not sure if it's still open. I haven't been in a long time, but the Blue Monkey.
I like the Blue Monkey.
I think was a great place with the pianos downstairs in the bar.
Yeah.
Love that. Not something you see often.
I spent a couple of New Years at Blue Monkey.
I'm sure that was a good place.
Their martinis are excellent there.
Yes, the martinis were great. I love the fact that you could get cigars in there.
Can you still do that in there?
I don't know.
Well,
because I haven't been in a few years.
The last time I went, it was before the smoking ordinance went into effect, and I believe it was when I believe it was 2012 or 13. But you could still smoke in there, and so you'd come out of there, smelling like a cigarette. But I don't think you could smoke in there. But now they may have a cigar part in the back or something, which is still cool.
The last time I was there was probably around the same time, about 2012, 2013, and the smoking ordinance, as far as I know, has passed, but because they were a bar, they could have cigarettes.
Yeah.
Or maybe they were doing it illegally. I'm not really sure. But nobody in there was smoking cigarettes. It was just the people in like the very bottom of the area smoking cigars. And I'm down with that because I love a good cigar.
I got a couple cigars for you, by the way. I need to bring
more.
To you. Yeah.
Sweet. My box is filling up.
It's Cuban.
Yeah, I'm down with that.
Yeah. See.
Now, did you ever go to the Speakeasy in Atlanta?
I did not. I know you've been there once or twice.
Twice,
yeah.
Also another place. I love that you can go in there and get a drink, sit down, smoke a cigar.
Now, what's the place where you dial in the booth?
That was Speakeasy.
Okay.
Yeah. Now, of course, in Birmingham we have the Marble Ring with the telephone booth, and you call up and get your table. Have you been there yet?
I need to get a babysitter, man.
You still haven't gone there?
I need to get a babysitter,
man. So I love it. Look, more bars. Even if you don't like the Collins Bar, it's part of our scene where we have these great experiences. If you want them, you can go somewhere that's kind of tailored to the experience you're looking for. I love that we're getting more options like this.
I will say this: it also brings people to the city center, or at least downtown. I remember when I first moved to Birmingham, it was 2011. It was that was all starting, but you go downtown on a Friday night, and it was a ghost town.
Yeah.
Unless you were on South Side, where there was a lot of people.
Or you were on to Lakeview.
Exactly. Yeah. But now you're starting to see more and more people to the city center. More and more things happen downtown on the weekend, and so Birmingham's growing.
Yeah, the more hotels we get, the more events we have coming in to bring people to those hotels, and the more we can offer them when they're here.
And it's important that these businesses they're local. They're not just like, it's not like an Applebee's,
right?
Which apparently they're closing a bunch of those, by the way. It's like an Applebee's opening up downtown. I mean, these are locally owned and run businesses that have kind of a local flavor to them, that hopefully they will thrive and makes our city unique.
Yep.
I'm just saying.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
What else you got for us?
That's all I got.
Awesome. I'm good with that. Yeah.
Hey, I had the Muchacho beer from Good People yesterday.
The renamed, or actually finally given a name, Mexican lager?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was good.
I did not know that was in cans yet until I was talking to Chris Beecham while they were installing the island, and that was something he revealed to me. It was something I loved at Good People. I hadn't had it in a while, and then he said it was in cans available in stores, and I was like, all right, I got to go now.
It's
I gotta
good.
Go find it.
It's really good.
I love it. Put a lime in there.
Oh, yeah. It's refreshing.
I'm going to say this. My wife may disagree with me. I think it's better than Corona.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not just saying
Corona's okay. The best Mexican beer I like is Modelo.
I'm Modelo and Dos Equis.
Dos Equis. Dos Equis.
The amber version of Dos Equis.
Yeah.
Yeah, but no, this is really good. Now, what's it called again?
It's called Muchacho.
Muchacho.
Gotcha. Yeah.
I'm going to go get me a Muchacho.
The beer.
Right.
Okay. Well, that's going to do it for this edition of the Red Mountain Express. We're glad you stuck with us since our hiatus of a week, but we are back, and we'll be back next week. Remember, you can find us online at redmountainexpress.com, or you can follow us on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. For Matthew Joyner, I'm Blake Westbrook. We shall see you next week.